Hello. Hi. March 6th entry of the Tony Koo Journal. You know, I was thinking about what I would say for today, right? And there's a couple things that I could say. I could talk about how I have a tattoo appointment coming up in 3 days. About to get a tattoo, first tattoo ever. I've never gotten a tattoo before. Um, and tattooing was always around me when I was younger. My friends. I hung around a lot of gangsters when I was young, and when you hear that, you might be tempted to think like the people I ran with, was maybe Crips or Bloods or Cholos. I don't know if that's a politically incorrect term, but I didn't mean any disrespect. Or but the people that I hung around with, they were more so like triads. Okay, they were more so like gangsters, Asian gangsters, right? In Vancouver, and they were a lot of them were either Vietnamese or friends with Vietnamese, right? And I'm not making I'm not insulting Vietnamese people. I'm just saying a lot of them happen to be Vietnamese. In fact, people want it to be Vietnamese. A lot of Vietnamese people, they have the last name like Truong or Luong or Duong. I might be like mispronouncing it. So a lot of my friends, they're not Vietnamese, they're Chinese, or they're even maybe white. They would change their last name on Facebook to Truong or Duong or New or Win. It's quite a phenomenon back in Vancouver, a microcosm of Vietnamese gangsters and people wanting to be Vietnamese because of how cool they looked. And there was actually even a term for that. If you were like a gangster or the Vietnamese gangster, if you dress like them, you would be called Nammers. It's taking the last name of Vietnam, M-A-M, and then adding, M-E-R at the end. You were a Nammer if you dressed in, designer clothing with Rockin' Republic jeans or True Religion jeans, and if you had the Lacoste shoes, there were these running shoes that were very sleek. They look like racers, like racing. They look like racing like cars. And if you had the North Face bomber, or if you had the North Face vest, and if you had some kind of like Jay Lindbergh hoodie on top, and you had the Jay Lindbergh belt, you were a Nammer. And it was very hot. It was a hot look. And if you had the G Star bag or a G Star hoodie, or if you had like it was a lot of like wearing man purses. Okay, so you've in other countries there were other like gangster phenomenons like the Gopniks, I believe, in Slavic countries, but these are Nammers. Okay, in Canada, or in this microcosm of culture, Nammers. Okay, Vietnamese gangsters who were designers, right? And a lot of my friends, they were Chinese, or they dressed like Nammers, or they were Vietnamese, and they loved the gang culture. The gang culture was present, right? And a lot of them became friends with gangsters and did gang activities, right? And as such, all these gangsters, they had tattoos. A lot of the tattoos were like the Japanese style tattoos, where they had like bars. I don't know if you guys know the phenomenon I'm talking about, where, let's say it's a sleeve, and when it ends here, there's like these bars indicating that it ended there. I think that's what it means. A lot of them would have, gangster tattoos, Japanese style tattoos. And so a lot of my friends had tattoos, and I've always wanted tattoos. But like many things, when I was growing up and I talked to my parents about it, my parents would say stuff like, oh, don't get that. That's bad. And they would make it seem like if I had gotten that, my life would, be ruined. And maybe, with the way I want things, maybe it would have been a little more extreme. I don't know. For example, I've even asked about, dyeing my hair when I was young, when I was watching TV or whatever, and I see people with dyed hair. I've always asked about, hey, can I dye my hair? And there was like, oh no, it's bad for you. If you dye your hair, it's bad for you. And I just, a lot of those things like I never had like when I was young, because every time I asked about it, if it was slightly out of the norm, or if there was any ounce of repercussion, that repercussion would have been magnified. And it's almost like we can't look at the benefit of whatever that action is. Dyeing your hair, the benefit of it could be innocence, like youthful innocence, like a child wanting to dye their hair, changing their look for the first time. I never experienced that, because it was just, oh, that's bad for your hair, or why would you want to dye it? And a lot of the consequences of such actions, even though there's benefits and consequences, it was always magnified. So when we're talking about tattoos, forget about it. Definitely when I brought up having tattoos, like, no, don't get it. And so now, and that was when I was around maybe 17 years old, right? And now that I'm like 30 years old, okay, I'm living, by myself. I have a job. This job is, they boast a very like welcoming culture, right? If you go on the website, there's even pictures of like everybody's welcome at this workplace, and then there's all these different arms, right, like putting hands into a circle, and there's black arms, white arms, Chinese arms, yellow arms, right? And then there's an arm that's covered in tattoos, right? So I'm going off that, and I'm going off the fact that one of my managers is also fully tatted, just covered up, right? But he's fully tatted, that tattoos are perhaps, not a point of contention in his workplace. So I have my first tattoo appointment in 3 days, right? And the tattoo idea that I'm getting is kind of wild. I've even considered like afterwards when I go out into public, like how will I be perceived, right? But it's something that I want to get, and I always like love to be like really cool, or really like really just like cool, I think is the best way. you know um I've always wanted to be really cool, like whether it's in the way I dress or in the way I look. And I think that, having this tattoo is going to be really cool. And I'm going to show you guys, right? Once I get it. There's no way I'm not going to show you guys. This is already the second video talking about my tattoo. So when I get it, I'll show you guys. It's going to be March 9th. Maybe I'll do a video that day, or it'll be the next day. I'm not sure, but I'll show you guys for sure. And you guys can tell me like how cool you think it is. And so, I could talk about the tattoo, and I think I just did, or I could talk about something else. Today actually, I just had the weekends, right? Monday's my first day back at work, and I was feeling some urges. I was feeling some urges, and me saying that might not really make sense to people. Like, what do you mean urges? Like and because if some people out there, if you guys watching this, like, and the way you guys masturbate is just, no problem, right? Like, oh, I masturbate whenever I want. Oh, I watch a little porn when I masturbate, no problem. Okay, that's great. That's great for you, seriously. But for me personally, like when I masturbate, okay, it's not like a huge problem, but the next day I get a little bit lethargic, right? I get a little bit tired, I get a little bit drained, and I find that when I get drained, it takes me extra energy to sort of do what I want to do. And that could mean many things. That could mean maybe running my errands. So if I'm tired and drained, the errands I need to run the next day, I might drop one of them because I'm like, you know what? I just can't be asked, okay? As opposed to if I haven't masturbated in like 7 days, I can get all the errands done and plan for tomorrow's errands because I have so much energy, right? So I find that I really enjoy that energy, and I really want to hold on to that energy. So it's almost like when I do masturbate, or when I have urges to masturbate, I get kind of like, I get a little bit, I'm kind of like, stuck on the fence a little bit. I'm like, okay, like, do I want to have a great time? It's pretty good, right? Like masturbating, it's not as good as sex, but it's pretty good, right? Like, do I want to masturbate and like, you know, come and like get tired after, or do I want to just wait until a good opportunity, like maybe I match with someone and it's like, all right, she's pretty hot, she's pretty funny, she's pretty cool, just if we end up hooking up, shoot it there, spend my seed there, or do I want to spend my seed, by myself, so so I get kind of like into those like decision making like stages whenever I get these urges, or whenever I, get horny. I'm like, man, like what do I want to do? So I had these urges today, right? And I think after some thinking about it, like I was like, you know what? I'm actually good to not indulge, I'm actually able to, I was like, okay, so I thought about what I would gain and what I would lose. And, what I would gain is, a couple hours, let's say I put on some, Pornhub or something, watch some hot girls or something, And I'm like, yeah, nice, right? A couple hours of fun, right? Or I could continue on with my path, towards what I want to achieve, my goals and stuff, and enjoy this extra burst of energy. Because I can keep this energy that I've been having. I think right now I'm on day 6 of not masturbating. It feels pretty good. Like things are feeling pretty good, right? I could just keep this energy and, keep it for tomorrow. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Maybe I have to go get milk out in the grocery store, and, well, maybe I'm feeling particularly funny tomorrow, and there happens to be a girl in the aisle right next to me, and I say, hey, look at this milk. Oh, did you know that milk in Spanish is leche? And perhaps this girl turns out to be Spanish and is like, oh, ¿cómo estás? And then, we get into a relationship there. Who knows what could happen? The sky is the limit. But I'm not going to just spend my seed. I'm not going to trade my seed at the arcade today when I could trade it for a bigger prize another day, So, I could talk about my urges, of which I just did, or I could talk about like something else. I could talk about how this channel is going, because obviously this channel is on my mind every single day since I started. I've made a video every day, and it's fun. It's literally like a journal, but it's kind of like a verbal journal. In fact, I'm quoting it now, the first person in history, 2023, Tony Koo. I'm quoting it right now. Video journals are the next biggest thing, and they'll be called Vournals. And I'm quoting it now. Clip it. And that, I'm doing Vournals. I'm the first person to do Vournals, and it's nice to do these Vournals because, I get to turn on the camera. I don't have to write. I don't have to move my hand on with a pencil on a piece of paper. I don't have to type on a computer about what I'm feeling today. I just get to say it. And I get to watch it back whenever. Imagine like reading back journals. It's great, right? But I don't have to read back journals. I could listen to my journals. I could play it back, and when I'm cooking, I'll listen to it again. I'll feel the same emotions I felt that day. Or I could watch it when I have some time. I go back to my favorite days to revisit. And, every time I make a journal, I talk about the biggest things that happened that day. If something, let's say, disrupted my emotions that day, I get to talk about it. I get to share it with you guys. And then a couple months back, I get to watch it and say, I don't know, like got into a fight with my coworker or something like that. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but whatever. Or maybe it can be a great thing. Random girl proposes to me on the street, whatever. I get to talk about it that day, share my emotions, and it also lets me sort out my emotions. I get to sort it out. They're not kind of just like in my head or in my body, emotions bouncing around like air in the jug. I sort of get to let it out and sort out my emotions and find out what it is I'm feeling. Maybe I'm feeling really sad. Maybe I'm feeling really happy. Maybe I'm feeling nothing at all. I get to just say it out and understand and organize my thoughts, and I get to do so in the visual and audio way, such as these Vournals. God, I'm coining that term. Tony Koo, 2023, coining the term Vournals. And so, I could also do that. And, and these channels, my channel, and just going back to making these videos, I've been doing this for about a month, close to a month and a half now, and my subscribers gone up. I think I started with 1 or 2 subscribers, and now I'm at 24 subscribers. And you might think that's not nothing. You might think that's not a lot of subscribers, but all of these 24 subscribers are people, and I get to I, I get to make videos talking about what I love, and these people come back and watch my videos. And it sounds kind of weird. I'm saying these people. What do you mean these people? And you people are watching it right now. I don't want to sound so like distant or estranged, but I'm just saying that I don't think this 24, like, I'm gracious for every one of those 24 people, and I'm gracious for every one of those 24 people, and every time there's a new subscriber, I get excited, right? Um, some subscribers, like, they don't, when they subscribe, I just see a number go up. I don't get the notification like, hey, such and such has subscribed to you, right? But some subscribers, I guess they have their like notification public or something, so when they subscribe to me, I can see who they are. And it's so interesting because I always click on their profile, right? And I always look at like who they are, and I look at maybe some of their past videos. I look at like who they sub to, and it really makes me like feel happy. I don't know. Sometimes it makes me happy. I click it and I see, like, let's say they're subscribed to, like, a lot of big YouTubers, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, like, why'd you subscribe to me? Like, do you, and maybe this is like a sense of cockiness or something, but I'm like, okay, great. Like, do you see something in me that perhaps you see in these other big YouTubers, right? So I like it when people subscribe to me and I can see their name or whoever their profile is, because then I get to kind of like see who they are. And since the last time I've talked about this, I've gotten a couple like DMs on Instagram, and it's just people saying like, "Hey, bro, like, found your channel," or "Hey, bro, like, I found you on YouTube. Like, I really like your videos, and that really makes me smile too." This one person, actually, I don't know if I'll just say it, right, because I'm not saying their name. This one person reached out to me, right? They're like, "Hey, bro, found you on YouTube, right?" And I messaged them back, right? I was like, hey, thanks, I really appreciate it, right? I was like, what's up? And then they just left it there, and that's fine, right? Like, maybe they don't want to carry on a conversation, and I actually think that's really cool that you can like, reach out just as like a point of like reaching out. Like, you don't need to carry on the conversation. You just want to hit the acknowledgement and say, hey, I found you on YouTube, love it, just keep it there. So I thought that was really cool, and I also thought it was kind of funny as well. I don't know. It's good, You know, for 24 subscribers, like, just 24, quote unquote. Like, I've had a lot of interactions already with the people, and I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like at 1,000 subscribers. I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like at 10,000 subscribers. I wonder if one day I'm gonna be too busy to reply to all of it. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Because I think some YouTubers or some celebrities, they're able to engage with their audience fully. Maybe at 10,000 subscribers, I'll still be able to reply to every single DM. I'll still be able to like and upvote every single comment, and I'll still be able to make videos like this, where I just take 30 minutes to an hour each day and just talk to you guys and just catch up to you guys. I was thinking, like, I really would like to be in a stage later on. I forgot what this one YouTuber's name is called, but you guys would know her, I think, if you really watch YouTube. I've only seen like one or two videos, but she's this like Caucasian girl, and she's young and pretty. I think her name was like Olivia or something. But she makes like blogs, right? I think she makes like a daily vlog or something. And then now she's like, on, who's that late night host? You guys know, the young man, the late night host, really funny. What's his name? Anyways, she's on like the late night show now, and she was I think on the red carpet, either the Met Gala or the red carpet, interviewing people. I really want to do that one day. Like, get into Hollywood. I really want to get into Hollywood as whatever. Like I just want to get into Hollywood on my own level, you know, on my own terms, and you know, and still be able to make the exact same videos, being the having the exact same vulnerability, having the same exact openness as I can now. That would be crazy, isn't it? Wouldn't that be crazy if I could be in Seth Rogen's movie, okay? But every night when the shooting wraps, I get to go into my trailer and then I get to make this video. And you guys know I'm set to be in Seth Rogen's movies, but I'm still able to talk to you guys like now. I really want that to happen. So I guess I'll leave it here for now. You know, I think that was a pretty comprehensive video. I don't even know what I'm gonna title this. Maybe I'll call it like housekeeping. But then I also sometimes want to make sure like at least the keywords are like searchable. Like if I call it like I'm not big enough where like I could call this whatever and then I'll still have people coming back. I want it to be at least searchable. So I'm not sure what I'll title it, but I'll title it something good and relevant. And I'll see you guys for the March 7th journal. No, March 7th entry of the Tony Koo Journal 2023. Goodbye.